Do you know what this means? 3-0. But also mean 3 premierships, and I won more premierships alone than the other 19 managers together. 3 for me and 2 for them. Respect, man, respect, man.
Alright, we're back, boys. A lot has happened since we last spoke, certainly in the transfer window. We've got the return of the Messiah, Jesus Christ, to Man United by the way that Man United fans have been acting to come home. Harry Kane has stayed at Spurs, and we've had potentially one of the worst international breaks that we've ever had in football. It's the worst international break possible. So we're going to get right into it. Let's talk about international football, and in particular Scotland and Stevie Clarke. First of all, what's everyone's thoughts on how it's been going? Because we talked about it last night. How complicated is the World Cup qualifiers?
So, alright, I want to say for a start, for our listeners, I actually didn't watch the Scotland game, I couldn't.
Yeah.
But on that, the result was one of those where it was like, we've gone and got 3 points, and it's a huge 3 points. See, if we lost it, it would have been like, shit, like I reckon we would have got pelters for it. Personally, I think it's one of those results that's like swung us the way now. We're like, oh, class. But then if we lost it, it would have been one of those where it's like, oh shit, like we're going to really struggle here. It's a huge 3 points for us though. It's massive.
Scott, you made a good point last night that Scotland seem to always lose, but yet we all seem to be in a potential to qualify.
It just seems that this qualifying process,
That's a good
there's
point,
like
by the way.
62 games, and if you lose one, it's fine. You can play another in 3 months' time. There'll be another 3 or 4 games. You can get some more points. And like we googled it last night, it's the most confusing qualifying process I've ever seen.
Yes, I don't
In
understand.
terms of like the group, and then if you don't finish first or second, maybe you did well in the Nations League a couple of years ago. You might still get through. Like Austria they're not going to qualify our group, but then I think they're doing well in the Nations League from a couple of years ago. They're still going to get a qualifying spot or into the playoffs.
Wait, sorry, Scott. So I don't understand how it works. So top 2 go through.
The group winner goes through straight into the World Cup. The runner-up goes into a playoff series, where you play a semi-final and a final.
So was that not the same for the Euros then?
Yeah, it's even more confusing though, I think.
Was the Euros not the exact same? Because we came 3rd in our Euro group.
No, but we got to
won
Euros through the Nations League, did we not?
Yeah, we did. The Nations League is separate.
The Nations League was a separate thing too. We didn't qualify through the Euros. We qualified through the Nations League.
I honestly don't know how it works. You're asking.
But so
has it always been that confusing? Or has it recently been?
It should just be like first team in, second team would play like the other like best qualifying second teams. And
why is it not just as simple as you're all split into groups? The winner goes through. Second place goes through.
It's probably more games, more
seeded
money
or
and stuff.
something,
What it comes down to.
So I think it's to give folk like Scotland the best
Also,
chance
having
of
an
getting
international
to a
break
tournament.
3 games into the season is an absolute shambles.
Yeah.
What did you think of the starting lineup? Oh, actually, just in general, how like.
Billy Gilmour's class.
Yeah, did we try? Did we try and play? Did we actually go there? Did we go away to Austria and try and play?
After 8 minutes, we'd actually created a chance, and Steve Clarke had no idea what to do with the whole team.
I wouldn't say we went to try and play. I think just Billy Gilmour tries to play.
The way it came,
tried to play.
Austria went for it as well. It was quite open, and I think by chance we had to go for it.
What would be your midfield 3? Would you play with Gilmour, McGinn, and McTominay, or no?
Yeah, I would play.
Yeah, probably.
That's why I would play. I would play Gilmour.
Obviously, Gilmour holding because.
McGinn loves for Scotland. He loves getting that free spot where he bombs forward a lot more.
No, how good was it? He looked well good, stretching and stuff, and running in behind.
He's actually got a bit of pace as well. He's got that power to get.
So
forward.
then, when McTominay's fit, would you play McTominay higher than as like an 8 or 10?
I think it would depend
Or
on
would
the
you
game.
maybe play with both of them sitting?
Gilmour McTominay sitting. You can put McGinn further forward. He seems to love that role.
So yeah, he's quite defensive. He'd probably have 2 sets.
There are 3 players that could probably rotate within being holding midfield and also being an attacker. Like they could probably rotate quite well. Like McGinn can sit, but McGinn can go forward. McTominay can sit, he can go forward. Billy Gilmour, maybe currently right now not so much effective in terms of maybe like adding goals to the team, but you could play higher up and thread some passes.
I don't think that's what we need Gilmour to do. Gilmour, there's that so good at just sitting in front, taking the ball, bit of composure, right, now we can pass forward, rather than just lumping it straight up.
Is it just me though? See, when I watch Gilmour play, I think off the ball he's really far off it. I know he's still a young kid, but like as a holding midfielder, like see when I watch him off the ball, he's quite lightweight, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, yeah, look how skinny in that he is.
Oh yeah,
He's
no,
so
I
young,
know. I
but-
understand he's still a young kid and stuff. And
Well, I mean,
maybe that'll come.
physically not.
Physically, when I
Right.
watch it, it does look. It does off the ball. It does look like. Let's be honest, he's in there because he's that good on the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
I
that's
do notice
exactly
a lot
what
of times
Scotland's
I'm
going
like,
for.
he should have won that
Now,
there. Like,
that first game we watched, when London Dykes headed the ball like 40 times,
Oh,
it was brutal to watch. But now we've actually got somewhere centre back who can pass it forward. He can take the ball. He's not scared to have the ball at his feet and play it forward.
we
And
almost
now-
go into a back four
Yeah.
when we're on the ball.
And now
really.
he can release him again. He can then release Adams and Dykes, and it's like it was actually it wasn't exciting to watch. but
Last
yeah.
night, first of all, the first game against Denmark, who I know are considerably better than us, which is fine. But I think our team's better than like how we play sometimes. We watched the Denmark game at mine. That was brutal. I honestly didn't even really pay attention to it.
No,
Not because we
It
were
was so
losing.
wrong, eh?
It was so
With Robertson on the right in that.
bad.
You
It
ever
was so
complicate
bad.
it?
You've got one of the
Yeah.
best left backs in the world who's not got a right foot, and you put him at right back.
Yeah,
Like,
you've got to
obviously,
try.
it's not the ideal situation not having a fully fit right
Yeah.
back, but there's
You've got to try and work out a better plan. That was brutal. Be completely honest. Didn't watch the game on Saturday. We played poker. I don't know if you watched the game on Saturday, Matthew, for Scotland or not.
Against Denmark.
Moldova.
And there was a Moldova one
When
they won
Patterson
1-0.
played.
Where his
Yeah,
start lineup
yeah.
was seriously good.
Yeah.
And
So I just want to say, right, I know Patterson was injured, but I really hope we go with him going forward, simply for the reasons
Agreed.
that if we play a back five, then play Robertson and Patterson high.
Yeah.
O'Donnell is good, right? But he's how old is he? Like,
O'Donnell's good. Me and Greg were pissing ourselves last night. There's a moment where the
When he got
Austrian
played
keeper
through?
kicked the
Oh.
ground and Adams won it and like played it back to O'Donnell, and it was one of those where it's like if you can get a shot off quick enough, it might go in, and it was on his left foot, and it was the most uncoordinated.
It was the
Attempt
worst,
to kick
worst
on.
What
15
O'Donnell
seconds
does
of
give you,
Barca.
he does give you a robust
Right, yeah.
defender.
right. But my
in terms of
point
if you go
is,
back five, he can't do that.
it frustrates me if we're playing a back five or a back three, whatever you want to call it. I think you need to go and play Patterson there and give him license to go forward. When I watch him go forward, I think he's really good.
That's a-
I seen
that's a
Everton
good
a link with him. I think that's a classed signing for the future as well, for him to grow. He's got
Stevie
huge. When
gonna
I
go
watch,
to Everton, like.
I
He
don't know
laughed
about
at their
that.
bed.
But
Yeah.
I think he's got huge potential, and I think if you play Robertson one side and obviously let him go forward and play Patterson, I think that's what you need to do.
What do you think about like we watched the game last night as well? We were happy with it because like we were saying okay we were still playing defensive, but when we could spring forward we went for it, and it was so refreshing having Shea Adams up top who you can actually try and play in behind or run at people. Like before, I know Dykes played as well and he scored the pen and he scored 2-2, but like before we had Shea Adams, it was brutal when we sat in and tried to break because Lyndon Dykes can't play like
And
that.
that was so nice. See when Christie came on, that was so good because he loves looking forward and getting that pass in behind and actually pulled it off a couple of times. And how exciting is that as a Scotland fan to actually watch that?
Yeah, real quick, what is Dykes? Why is Dykes on the penalties? Has he always been
Yeah, I
on
was
penalties?
surprised by that.
Who else? Who else did we have to hit a penalty?
I thought.
Well,
that,
you not shitting it when Dykes was
Yeah, I
like
thought
Dykes
Shea
had a
Adams would take
penalty.
it.
Yeah, Adams. I
Dykes
thought
was
Adams was
shit
going
at
to take it.
McGinn, can McGinn
Oh,
not hit a
McGinn,
pen?
yeah.
Can McGinn?
I can't remember
McGinn
who
not?
took.
Nah,
I don't
Grealish
think he
used
took
to-
one in the
no.
shootout. I can't remember.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't know who. Who's
But-
who's?
I can see.
When did we last have a penalty?
Yeah, I know. I can see where the evolution of the team is hopefully going because I think we can be. I'm not saying we need to open up and play like class football, but like I think we can be a little bit more
Robust,
expansive
yeah.
in games like
Yeah, we-
last night was fine. I was fine with that. I was fine with that last night. You are being compact, but when you have the opportunity, go forwards and attack, which is fine. But like we watch some Scotland games and it's like when that's got. I said last night, sorry, Scotty. When you play that way, when you're that defensive, it has to go perfect.
Yeah. And in one negative moment, and it ruins the whole game for you.
As soon as we go
That-
1-0 down, we're done.
That's the most frustrating thing. We see that last night, and then when we get to Euros, and then you just sit with 10 men behind the ball. And this is the most negative, depressing performance you
Yeah.
ever see. We have got some seriously good players, some seriously good attacking players in there that can play football and want to play.
Do you see?
agree.
Do you see what I'm saying though? Like football's such a fine line. If we lost that last night, we're
100%,
probably sitting here
yeah.
by the way, and we're probably being like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
probably
like
slaying
what the
Whoa,
fuck?
whoa,
Like,
whoa, whoa,
we're
this isn't
like,
right here.
we're probably basically saying the opposite of what.
But by the way, we're going to potentially qualify second in the group. We still have to go through 2 more games to get into the World
Yeah.
Cup. It's not going to happen.
I will be buzzing if we qualify for the World Cup. That'd be class.
I just
To be completely honest, right, we were talking about this last night as well. Actually, before I go into that, we'll talk about Stevie Clarke because we're talking about Scotland and stuff. Like, what do you think about him getting a new contract?
The argument I'd probably make is like I genuinely don't know who else you'd get in at the moment.
I think you have to.
Yeah, I think he deserves it.
I don't know how anyone can sit here and say he doesn't. Like I think he does.
Like, yeah, he's got the team to Euros. That deserves the contract. You can't argue with that.
He gets an opportunity to try and qualify for the World Cup, and if we qualify for the World Cup, take us to the World Cup.
I really think
the most Scottish thing would have been if he qualifies us for the first tournament in years and then gets sacked like 2 games later.
Bring Craig Leach back in.
Yeah, exactly. I think he does deserve the chance. And performances last night, he is showing glimpses that he can change his philosophy or his style.
Do you think, like, what's fair? Do you think that we need to get on board with just accepting that we're going to be that defensive? Or do you think that it is fair to criticise him and say that it's okay to be compact and defensive because we're not great, but we could be more expansive in certain games?
We wouldn't be Scottish football fans if we didn't sit here and criticise him.
That's true.
The whole way. But
do you think we're that defensive?
We can be. The Denmark game was poor. Like we didn't really.
Yeah, but I think
you're playing against.
you have to remember how well Denmark done in the Euros. Israel have gone there and got hammered 5-0.
And we did have
Like-
Robertson playing at right back, which makes a huge difference to that whole team.
But is the team not better than that be the game plan? That's my question. Is I'm okay with being defensive and accepting that Denmark are okay, but like...
I think the hardest thing.
By the way, sometimes you have a game plan though, and it doesn't always go to plan.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
you have to understand. They might have went there thinking like, let's try and do this that, and we've all been there and played in the game where that's just never the case. Denmark are way better than you think they are. They're all over you. It's one of those where it's like,
it's so easy for us to sit here and say we should have played more expansive, but then you come up against this England team at the Euros. What's he going to do? Go play expansive and get beat 6-7-0?
No, not that.
It's tough. Like
I think
international managers are such a hard
I
job.
feel like we're at an okay point with it, like where we're at with it, and
yeah, you could probably flip it as well and say like, just as related to like club football, a team like say like Crystal Palace or like Wilfred Zaha and that Eze and that are like actually have the ability going forward. When they play Man City, they just straight away go defensive because it's their only option.
Yeah, definitely.
see with international football as well. I don't know if you've realised, but you can't really create a style and way of playing. I think it's way more difficult.
It's more tactics.
Like, see, when you're at a club, it's different because it's every week you're playing, right? And there's folk going there every week to watch you play, and they need to see a path. With international football, Steve Clarke Clarke gets a job, and all the aim is getting to the Euros.
Yeah.
And how he does it, whatever he thinks how to do it, we surely have to go back to that.
Now more than ever, COVID and everything, the team changes constantly as well.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get that same 11 nailed on every week.
And how good was it this summer with us being in the Euros?
Yeah.
It was good fun.
And the one thing you can see progress getting made.
There's definitely progress. There's definitely progress for sure. And
The team looks like it's a team as well. Do you not think?
Yeah.
Though? Like
Yeah.
they're really actually wanting to win. Like they actually are. Like
love Stevie Clarke.
everyone's involved. Do you know what I mean? And he deserves credit for that because he creates that culture
Wait,
within the Scotland
You see
national
McGinn's
team.
reaction
100%.
last night when we won.
yeah,
He's
he's
like
buzzing.
launching the ball near
Yeah.
Booting the ball.
Yeah.
It's a huge 3 points.
It's a
Yeah.
huge 3
Oh,
points.
yeah, it's
huge 3
huge.
points. Away Austria, who I think they're in a bit of trouble, but
The fact that we
manager
even
and stuff.
they're talking about them having a chance to qualify in the World Cup shows you there's progress.
Craig Gordon big saves as well. by the way.
big sense. You should. I think I respect what Marshall's done. I don't know whether it's just maybe the Hearts thing, but I quite like Craig Gordon in goal.
I
to
do
be honest
too.
with you. I
do
really
too.
like Craig Gordon in goal. I just feel a bit more assured.
He's
He's
not
very
done much wrong
experienced.
yet, has he? Like
He's a very, very solid keeper. He's been a solid keeper his whole career.
He's looking tremendous.
yeah, he's made some
Well,
good saves.
let-
Slots him well.
Let's be honest. I'll be completely honest, and you guys can agree with me or disagree with me. I don't. Obviously, when Scotland are on, I care about it, and I want to watch, and I want us to win. But I'll be completely honest. International football as a whole, certainly the qualifiers, not the tournament. I switch off. I switch off for 2 weeks and don't really pay attention.
Yeah, I totally agree. Until
Not-
you get to the tournament, and the tournament's class.
Don't get me wrong.
but-
I'm at home. I'm gonna chuck a game of football and I'm gonna watch it. But in terms of being true investment, like I'll be more likely to be that I'm gonna watch a film tonight when this is on compared to if it's midweek club games. I don't know what you think about that. I just think it needs to be revamped. Like I don't think that there needs to be this many breaks.
we were
This is the
talking about-
worst break there
So
is.
the other day, we're at that generation that we're all of our lives growing up with Scotland. It's been absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
There's been no chance of getting to the tournament. I think we've lost that spark, which could well
Very
be its way
true.
back. Can you imagine being a kid growing up now
Oh, you fucker.
and watching Scotland get to Euros? Like John McGinn's your hero. Being a young kid now would be amazing.
That's a great point.
When we grew up, we were watching like Verti Volts and we were getting pumped by the Faroe
James
Islands.
McFadden.
Yeah, but that's
a great point.
that is great point. That's the only good example I've got being a Scottish fan growing up was
Folk-
McFadden's
I
goal.
think folk like Gilmour coming through and playing at
Yeah.
Chelsea and doing well in
Yeah.
Champions League, and that definitely plays a part.
Us as a generation.
You look at the players you got. You got
Just-
Tierney, who definitely should be playing for a top 6 team in England. You've got Robertson, the captain, who plays for Liverpool. You've got Patterson coming through, who plays for Rangers. You've got Gilmour, who's at Chelsea.
Liam
McTominay's
Cooper
at Man
captain
United.
Leeds.
Liam Cooper at Leeds. McGinn at Villa, who are a decent team. Shea Adams at Southampton, who I actually quite like the manager, are okay, but he's a good player. Like, man, I've just named pretty much the whole team that all play at the highest level.
Hadley centre back for Norwich.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of decent players in it. I don't know. I just think with international football, personally, it needs a bit of revamping. They're talking about doing the World Cup every 2 years potentially. They're having like a big meeting about it tomorrow, but that will take away like they like won't do this. I don't know. Maybe they won't do this like break. They're gonna do like less international breaks.
I think part of the hatred towards international football comes like the season's just come back through 3 games in. Everyone's buzzing about their clubs being back, and then all of a
It's
sudden,
shit.
like you imagine, like now the Brazilian boys, half the teams are missing for the weekend, and it just causes more issues than it.
Yeah, it's because of
fuming at
COVID
that.
though, but
Yeah, I know it's a COVID thing, but still, like
Well, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I'm not as invested in it. What do you think about Ronaldo then? He's back.
huge.
The Messiah is back.
Yeah, it's
This
big.
kills me to say it as a Liverpool fan, right? It's like, so you know how they're playing Newcastle. By the way, do you know that the game's not going to be on TV?
Yeah, it's at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's a 3 o'clock
3 o'clock
kickoff.
game.
You just do not feel like you just want to watch it to see, and if he's starting to see him like walk out
You'd
the
be
tunnel,
so
like,
buzzing if you were a United fan
You know what
for
I mean?
having him
'Cause-
back.
Yeah, you would.
Mate, you see, growing up, Ronaldo in the Premier League how old would I have been when he was kind of coming through?
2008,
12, 13 or something.
Yeah, maybe.
So
Well,
great age, mate. Fucking obsessed with football all the time, and just I mind watching him play every weekend. Right, my best memory of Ronaldo is his free kick against Portsmouth.
Yeah, that's my
Like,
answer.
Yeah.
I
that's
don't know
class.
why like, that sticks. Like he's class, man. Like he's so good. Obviously, I think it's a class signing for United. I think it does more than bring goals and bring assists and all that. I think everyone at United ups it in training. It ups it.
Oh yeah.
There's folk that will now be doing extra because he's
Yeah.
like it. Just I think it lifts the whole.
there'll
Of,
be such a buzz around that club right
that's
now.
what I'm saying.
the whole
I
fan
think
base, yeah.
people are underestimating that concept of it. I'm really interested to see how he does at this age. By the way, in the Premier League, like I have no idea
He's
how
still
it's
got
going
it
to go for
physically,
him.
innit?
I think he still. I mean, he still looks unbelievable.
Do him and Cavani maybe like rotate a
I've
good few
no-
weeks? Like,
No chance. Ronaldo's fit plays. He
You think
plays
so?
he plays 90 minutes. He's taking free kicks and penalties. He's
Cavani can't get a regular game at the moment anyway, can he?
No. Do you? I've got two things. I've got 2 things about this. First of all, unfortunately, I agree with pretty much all of what you guys said about him going there and training and all that. Be good. I think the biggest thing for him, I was thinking about this, right? He's at a point in his career where it's like, where else do you go if it's not PSG really for the money or to America? And I think that it's quite telling the decision that he's made and the character that he is anyways, that I think it's actually perfect for him. He's at a point in his career now where everyone's going to doubt him because of his age. He's going back to the top league and he's going to be like, fuck yous, I'm proving everyone wrong and I'm bringing the titles back to Manchester United. I think it suits him where he's at in his career to come back to United.
yeah.
Massively.
I think if anyone's gonna go and do that at that time in the career,
Yeah, well, we have.
he's the only one that can do it.
It would be
can't
the
he? 'Cause
most
how fit and
Ronaldo thing
sharp
ever
he
to go
is
to
and-
United and win the league, wouldn't it?
How long's he gonna play for? What age is he gonna play till, mate? Like
Mate, he's therefore playing. till
he's
he's
obsessed with the
40.
game.
Well,
Yeah.
Simon's age,
Sharp
like
and fit
63
as
or something,
anything,
you know?
mate.
Ha.
He's in the
60,
He'll be
going,
ca- he'll be
going,
cashing
up,
in a
going up
pen-
to 67
He'll
and
be
running
cashing his
that way.
pension with
Does he
Josh.
start against
But-
Newcastle or
But-
not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mate,
he
he starts
starts.
every game.
I think
He's
so.
gonna
The
start.
Newcastle game, I think he's
If
starting.
he's unless he's, I've heard folk being like, oh, they might rest him like during the week and that. And like, if he's fit, he is playing every game. And I actually look at the Juventus thing and everything happening quite late. I think him getting benched was him fair enough. What he's done in the game, you can't dispute it. I think a bit of an ego thing. Like, fuck you, I still think I can play. If you're not going to start me, I'm off. Fuck yous. I'm off. I'm gonna go somewhere where I play
Well,
every
did
week. I'm
he get
recruited.
benched at Juventus? Not through his own.
There was
Well, not 'cause he
there
wanted
was
to leave,
rumors
yeah.
that he'd requested to be benched because he wanted to leave, but I think that was the second game he got benched in a row.
Okay. So he did get benched.
And by the way, I think he came on in both games and scored the winner or scored a goal.
Yeah, one of them was offside.
One of them was
I've seen
offside.
that
Yeah,
one.
he obviously just broke the international. He's the highest goal scorer ever in international games. Last season he got 29 goals in Serie A. He beat Lukaku by 5 goals. So he still got it in him. He's going to be a number 9.
If Ronaldo comes to Premier League, right, let's say he has a few outstanding seasons,
Could that be a difference between him and Messi? For you personally, I know it's not really a debate that I personally like having, but like, do you think if he goes and does it 2-3 years down the Premier League that everyone's like, right, Messi's gone to France and done what he done in France, but Ronaldo's come to the Premier League, won Man U the title type thing? Do you reckon
because if Messi went to his Man United team, he'd be just as good or potentially.
So?
Yeah, United will create so many chances. They give a player.
I'd be very impressed if he makes United. I'd be very impressed.
So I'll ask you straight up, right? Yes or no? Does Ronaldo bring a league title or a Champions League to Man United?
No.
No, I don't think. I think there's more. I think there's too much. There's so much competition in the league now. I think he'll do great. Don't get me wrong. And I don't want to be like biased to that, but I don't know if he bridges like the gap that much.
You don't think it's enough to win them a title or a Champions League?
I don't think so.
If Kane goes to City, would that have been like, right, that brings him a title, do you reckon?
If Kane went to City, 100% they'd win the league.
Because of the City squad and...
Yeah, just the City squad. I mean, they won the league last year. So like,
what do you think about Kane not going? Like, because I just think it's Spurs under Nuno. Like, I know they've won 3 games in a row, 1-0, but Nuno's clearly going to play very similar to how he played at Wolves. They're going to be quite difficult to beat. They're not going to be very exciting. They're going to hit you on the break and beat you 1-0. But it's probably another trophy this season for Harry Kane.
yeah, I honestly thought he would leave.
Does he go in the?
I
I
think
think
give it a little more time and see how Nuno does. I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot of pressure on him whatsoever.
I think next summer Kane's going to say the same. I want out. I've got 2
Yeah, I
years
think
left.
so.
But now I'm worth less money.
What's his contract? This
He's got 3 years left.
Oh,
Next
does
year will
he?
be 2 years. That's why it was so
There was
difficult to get.
100% breaks down somewhere. He was 100%,
There's no way he's out that
mentally-
contract.
but it's just not happened for whatever reason.
Yeah, I
Those
think he
rumours
is.
don't come out of nothing. Like he's leaving soon.
Whether
Well,
there was a money situation, whatever it was, I don't know.
What do you think that does for City without a striker now, without a recognised striker? What do you think that does for them? Do you think that
Yeah, I think-
if you look at City now, because before we talked last time, right, we were like, City get Kane, it's pretty much over, and everyone was saying that. Now they've not got Kane. United have signed Ronaldo. Chelsea have signed Lukaku. Liverpool have got their first 11 back. Like, where does that put City? Because I think when it comes down to it, I know they won the league. Everyone's going to say they did it last year without a 9. Fair enough, but I think Liverpool are better this year, Chelsea are better, Man United are better this year. I actually think that I could see City finishing 3rd or 4th.
No way. They've got way too much quality to not. Even without recognised striker, they've got so much quality in that pitch to still score goals. I mean, what have they scored this season? They scored 5 the other week.
I think
know,
mainly
but-
for the reason I've said this on the last one as well, trying to bounce back and win another title and the pressure and everything you have, it's so hard to do it again and go and play well again. I think that might be more the
And
main
how-
reason why it might happen. But who did they play last year as their striker mainly?
They rotate
Fucking
all
De
the
Bruyne
time.
at one point.
Sterling or did De Bruyne?
Sterling, Jesus, De Bruyne. So
They
like,
started off
Torres
well.
and Jesus came on it for a bit as well.
and it did.
He's playing Torres there right now, isn't he?
And it did work last year. Obviously, they won the league, but I just think this year the other 3 are a lot stronger, and I just think that maybe in the long run that might let you down. And by the way, from a Liverpool point of view, I think bar Salah. I don't see where else. Well, Jota maybe, but apart from Salah, I think same thing with Liverpool. I think Ronaldo, if he can add 20 plus to United, Lukaku hopefully gets 20 plus to Chelsea. So
Defensively,
true.
they're really good though.
Who? City?
City.
Yeah,
Well, they have the ball all the time.
defensively they're really good.
Yeah, how did this
Was
become?
not Fergus said
Kane.
defense wins you titles or something, was it not? Fergus
Yeah,
said
defense
so.
wins you titles, attack wins you games.
I just think, I don't know.
Oh, how much? As you say, going for a title back-to-back seasons, how much easier is it? You've got a striker that's guaranteeing you 20 goals.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that's
but
why everyone
I-
done it down the years with the Aguero and
So-
stuff.
Yeah.
Put it this way, right? You're
Yeah.
watching.
Football evolves as well though. Like
Yeah, but you're watching like when Liverpool play City now. If they have Kane in the team, I'm 10 times more worried compared to like they're gonna show up to play us with Ferran Torres as their false 9 against Van Dijk. I'm happy with that.
if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Pep at City. You got to remember he done it at Barca as well and playing with a false 9.
Yeah, but he played Messi.
I
as a
know it was
false
Messi, I understand that, but if anyone's gonna do that, for sure it's gonna be Pep. He done it last season.
They pumped us 4-1 last season.
Yeah, no, I know. Look, I
If there's
know.
one team that doesn't need a striker because they've got quality all everywhere else, is Man City.
All the stats from last season dispute my point, but I'm looking at it moving forward this year with teams being strong, fans being back, football kind of being back to normal. I'm not saying that City are going to be shite. I just think that in terms of winning the title, and I definitely think in terms of the Champions League, that might be where they come up short.
I have a strange feeling that might be the case for them as well.
I think they're going to come up short, and I think that I could see City looking at the 4 teams now without a striker, still finishing on a very decent points total, 80 plus, and coming fourth. Behind Chelsea, United, Liverpool, or third.
So many things happen in the season that just things don't go your way. There's
Like,
so many different factors that can
Yeah, there's
affect
no way.
these
Like,
things.
Lukaku might be injured this weekend already. It's not as if Lukaku's going to play every single game, Ronaldo's going to play every single
No,
game.
things
Kane's
can
gonna play
happen.
every single
Oh
game.
my
Harry
God.
Kane just scored a
What
fucking
a
screamer, by the
dick.
way.
Holy
Fucking
shit!
Harry Kane.
How far
mate.
did you hit that from?
About
Go on, Hazard.
35
Great
yards or
timing,
something.
son. Great timing for the content.
Should have signed for City.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much did it move?
I know.
I think
Just
if it
right.
started in the middle and ended up all the way.
So, Scotty, sorry, going back to Ronaldo, you never got to. Do you think he wins a league title or a Champions League? He's got
Would
2 year
not be
deal.
surprised if it happens. 100%. Like, of all people in the world to do it, it'd be Ronaldo. But I just think
It is.
Oh my
It's-
god!
that's so hard.
Have you swaz that?
Mate, his
I think
hits-
it's
Look how he hits it.
Do you know what I think it's done in, which potentially could be a good thing as well, by the way.
Keep
Because
him very close.
it's heaped on, in my opinion, more pressure for Solskjaer.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like it's actually because now if
Think
you
so?
don't win it, well, yeah, you literally signed. Are you really gonna get a better number 9 out there in the world than Ronaldo?
In terms, and what pressure is if Ronaldo doesn't play well, it's Solskjaer's fault, or if he doesn't win the league and they sign Ronaldo, it's Solskjaer's fault.
Yeah, because I think I look at that squad and bar a centre midfielder now. I think they've got everything.
All the pressure's on Ronaldo, no?
Nah.
Nah, I'd say more
He's the
pressure.
he's
Ronaldo's got
the
loads
big
of.
messiah.
Yeah, but my point would be fair enough. Yes, pressure on Ronaldo, but he's proven every single year in his career he can handle the pressure. Whereas Solskjaer,
It always falls on the manager's head.
Yeah,
but
then he's
Solskjaer's getting sacked if Ronaldo's shit. Put it
It's
that
not, it's
way.
not as if you're signing now 26-year-old Ronaldo peak of his form. Like
I hope
he
he's
might,
shite and they all burn his shirts and that.
he could just be a yeah, he could just be too old. He might be too old to play Premier League now.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like, I think he's clever. I think how he's. I don't think. Put it this way, like I said earlier, I think he's really clever in his decision making in his career, and I think he's looked at it and gone, everyone's doubting me. Like I said earlier, he scored 29 goals last season in Serie A. Like, he's still fucking.
From what I've
banging
seen
it.
in United to the first start of the season, all they needed that little spark, and they could start banging in goals for fun. Like
It's a bit of
they
a
could start.
weird one with Greenwood because
handle
I think
teams, yeah.
Greenwood's really coming on and like
Yeah.
score and is. I'm watching United. Like, don't let Mason Greenwood get in the box
Yeah.
and shoot.
100%. He's becoming a seriously
Yeah,
good
no,
player.
that's
I think
But then he gets trained with
The
us.
Sancho signing was weird.
I thought it was a weird one, but I've never
Yeah.
really watched it.
Yeah,
that
'cause
much.
almost like they
Greenwood's-
didn't need him.
Do you not think you invest that money into the middle of the park?
Yeah.
But then sure,
100%.
And you then
they
promote Greenwood, and he has a good few seasons, and now if he ever wants to move on, he's now worth 80 million or whatever.
they've clearly not seen a Ronaldo transfer coming.
No, this is the last point I wanted to make on Ronaldo. Me and Greg have talked about this, and this is not me on the wind up. I genuinely think this. Man United couldn't let him go to Man City. If he went to Man City, I know I texted this on the group chat, and I was half joking, but I was half being serious. If he went to City, that is the end of Man United being the better club in Manchester. That's it. It's over.
Well, they've
It's
got out,
over.
they've
100%.
got out and made a statement saying there's no way he goes to the
Your
rivals. Yeah.
rival.
Do you think he personally would have done that?
100%.
I think you.
Do you think
100%.
Ronaldo is interested?
If Man United hadn't come in for him, do you think he wouldn't have not gone? If Man United said we can't afford it, it's not good business, you think he wouldn't have gone to City?
I think he would have gone. Do you think it takes City? Do you
100%.
think it takes United out of the running for getting Haaland next year? Because they've got United on the books. You got Ronaldo.
Surely it
yeah,
has
surely
to.
can't afford
Surely it has to. That's my thinking too. It's like, okay, yes, I think Ronaldo will probably be great for them, and I think he'll bang goals in. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. But I'm thinking in the next 2 to 3 years, like you say, Haaland's up there. I know Mbappe looks like he's pretty adamant he wants to go to Madrid, but he's available. But you've got him now. Like, what'd you do now?
Mate, Pep's a genius. He didn't want Ronaldo. Next year, he's going to win the league without a striker. Next
Fucking
year, he's going to
brilliant.
sign Haaland and Kane. He's going to dick everyone. He's going to win the World Cup. He's going to retire. See you later.
But I'm being serious. I think the Man United thing was because Solskjaer got asked about it earlier on. I know you can't take what they say in public all the time as like truth, but like Solskjaer said, look, we're not interested in him. It's not a position we're looking to improve in. And then as soon as it was like Ronaldo's going to City, all of a sudden Man United are like are in for him beside him. I think they're like we cannot let that happen from a club, a global point of view of one of our greatest ever players has now joined Man City, and let's be honest, he goes there. it's fucking toast as well for everybody else.
Oh,
Playoff
imagine he'd signed for City and then they beat United on.
Like
Old
Pep would
Trafford or
love him,
something.
mate. He'd
Yeah.
training every day, be like getting on it, everyone would be class. So I think that's interesting. I think there was a bit of long-term planning. Beans, I agree with you. Like it's a really interesting one because now how do you go in for Haaland next year?
When you're paying someone 500 grand.
And like
It just
Ronaldo,
opens up for City, doesn't it?
and I don't care what you say, whether he has a shit season or not. Ronaldo is not going to be like happy to sit on the bench. He's gonna be like, no, you sign me, and I'm playing every week. So long term, I don't know. It's interesting. So. I didn't answer the question. Do I think he wins him a league title or
Whatever
Champions
comes
League?
from
No.
it, how exciting is it having a player like that back in
It is.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is really exciting.
I genuinely can't wait to watch him play.
I'm actually looking forward to watching him play.
I don't know how. I have no idea how I feel it's gonna pan out.
Yeah.
On how he does.
Do you not think that United fans, fair enough?
The more. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you not think United fans, which is fair enough, feel like they're acting like it's definitely gonna work? Like the reaction is like, oh my god, he's back. Like there's no doubt.
I think he'll be good. There's no way he's going to be shite, by the way.
Can't be. I don't think
Nah.
he will be either.
But as
never
Matthew
gonna
said
be
before, regardless of goals and assists, that buzz he brings to them, that's what they were missing against Wolves when I seen them. They were a decent team, but they just lacking that
Just that.
just
someone
that
like him.
whatever it is, and then Ronaldo brings that to them. I think there's no way they don't batter Newcastle on the weekend. Surely,
I think they pumped.
Pump Newcastle. Ronaldo could have a hat trick. Debating on
just seems like the
the
dream homecoming for him.
Right. Another thing. I think it's time. This is something I'm being serious about. I'm not on the wind up. It's time for people to start putting respect on Trent Alexander-Arnold's name. And Scotty doesn't want us to have this conversation, but the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I noticed a little bit towards the end of last year with Liverpool, and I know on the other day with England, that he's starting to drift into being a centre midfielder, and it's quite an interesting from a football point of view. If you're a football fan and you like tactics and all that type of stuff, and a good talent. He is moving into midfield, which is very interesting. Matthew, I know you watched the England game. What did you think about it from that perspective?
Well, he only played a half in there, by the way. So I don't know if he's watched it,
I
right?
dropped back, didn't he?
So it was Reece James at right back and then Trent in midfield. And Trent played there in the first half.
What?
And I think...
Centre mid or right mid?
No, he played centre midfield.
Centre
He
mid.
played. It was
Right of the three, right?
It was Hendo, Trent, and I don't know who the other person was. I forgot. But he was centre midfield. I watched it. Positionally, I think he was a little off, which is pretty normal when you're probably used to playing as a right back who likes to go forward, and it didn't work too well between him and James, but I think with time, especially going to play centre, you need time to like position and get a feel
Yeah,
for it.
100%. You can't judge him on the first.
The second, like folk were saying, like, oh, Trent was poor in there and that. Like England, that first half, it was flat and like no one was good. It wasn't like they were like tearing who it was like Andorra or something to pieces. Like generally, they just sat back really deep, and England has kept the ball. And it was really hard to break down, but you see little glimpses where you're like, right, holy shit! Like I have no doubt in my mind that he could play there, but I think he needs a little bit of training and coaching and just getting a feel for. Because see, playing centre midfield compared to a right back, totally different.
Something like that. That's a decision he needs to make and go, right, I'm now playing centre mid. I'm going all in. I'm learning that position. Like, it's not just
So-
He played there before he got into the Liverpool first team.
Yeah,
he got into
yeah,
the Liverpool first
but-
team as a right back.
To
Yeah,
relearn
but-
that though is
Going
Yeah,
to play
at
that
that
at the level
level.
that he's played at is a total different story. But I just also want to add, like, I think so. When I watched Liverpool, especially this season, simply with Elliott playing in centre midfield now, I don't know if you watch a lot of it, you'll notice it. Salah, we've obviously worked on this and trying to. This is basically our evolution from last year type thing. You know, you have to always change it up, or else teams just know what you're gonna do. Elliott now plays centre midfield, but when we have the ball, Elliott gives us the width and goes way far and hangs on the touchline and plays wide as anything. And he's really good at that because he's played as a right winger most of his life. Elliott gives us width. Salah almost plays as that inside forward, which he's done a lot of the time. And now Trent comes and plays almost as a centre midfielder.
Yeah, I've seen
So he's
that.
kind of playing there anyway. When we're off the ball, he then slips in and goes and plays right back. Elliott comes and plays in centre midfield. But see, when we have the ball, if you watch it,
Trent literally plays centre mid for us. Obviously, he switches up. Of course, he'll go and overlap Elliot sometimes, and then Elliot come inside on his left foot, and same with Salah. But a lot of the time, Trent gets
Jordan Pickford. Oh, I'd love if that had gone in. You jammy bastard.
Trent gets it a lot of the times, in which if you're playing on the right side of a centre mid, you'd get it anyway. He is kind of playing there for us at the moment, just the way, especially when we have the ball.
When you got that much possession as well, it's
Because
easier
you
for
know
him to
the
get
area,
forward.
like everyone says, it's like the De Bruyne area where you just get it, and like De Bruyne that season kept whipping on those balls and folk kept scoring. He's obviously class at that, and that's what he's been doing recently for us, and I think it's really beneficial for him.
It's huge. I'm interested to see it. I think like he's very, very good. I think it's an interesting progression for him to be in there, but like it's a weird one though, because he kind of will also get more space if he stays at the right back at times too. Like you play
More space than then ball forward.
It depends on so many things though.
It does, yeah. It depends. And playing for Liverpool and England are two different things. We just talked about international football and club football.
But then who do Liverpool put right back then?
Well, we're about to sign someone.
Well, we bought.
Exactly, yeah.
Bear in mind,
This isn't going to happen in the next 2 years.
Gomez is definitely a backup right back.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And that Konate we've just signed can definitely play there as well.
But can they do a good as job as Trent does it right
No,
back?
Well, the team changes.
This is never going to be, and then our Liverpool struggling that badly in midfield. To require him to go forward.
I think Trent will move into centre midfield towards the end of his career. Personally, I
But
don't.
not anytime. He's 23 years old. Not anytime soon.
I
though,
think
is it?
towards the end of his career, where
I don't know. I think it's starting to happen now.
No, I do too.
It's definitely a plan from Liverpool's point of view. And by the way,
I don't know.
you're an idiot if you don't think Klopp and Southgate spoke about that for him to play in centre.
Oh no, yeah, 100%. Yeah, they've copped everything.
And that's to say that goes for anyone that you see playing a different position for the national team. Like the managers obviously are like, look, we're thinking about this. What do you think? Well, yeah, I actually think that too. Let's both try and give it a bash for him.
And it solves the who do you play at right back debate and gets both of them in the team.
Yeah, which again, Reece James not even close to Trent Alexander-Arnold.
So the second half was really interesting. I really like Southgate, by the way. I think he gives so many players freedom and opportunity. Like, I reckon he just tells them fucking go for it. The second half they switched. Reece James went and played in centre midfield, and Trent went and played right back. Reece James used to play centre mid for Wigan when he went on loan there. He used to play in centre midfield for Wigan. So like, there's so much switching about there, which I think is personally class.
And mate, the position they're in, they're gonna never not qualify for World Cup. So fuck it, might as well go and try it, see what happens.
England are pretty solid, being there. We were talking about that earlier about Scotland. England aren't exactly great to watch, but they're better than Scotland to watch. They attack more. But England are quite conservative and compact and like get through games 1-0, 2-0 international football.
Yeah, they do literally win every single game that they play until it gets to like the latter stages of a tournament as well. That's why I think we were talking with it. But I bet you England supporters are way more buzzing for international break than what Scotland fans are, because you know that you're going to win every game. You're going to score about 15 goals.
Yeah.
You're going to watch your team have the ball all the time.
Right, yeah, sorry. Going back to the Trent chat, right? So do you think, I think personally, it's a little too early to be doing it now. Simply for the reason, it's going so well, I don't know why you change it.
I was going to say he's the most creative right back in the. He's the most creative right back in the league. So why would you move him?
Change it and confuse things, right? And I think personally, it's too early to try that now. I just think he's.
Surely the only reason you change it if there was a glaringly obvious right back coming through, you think this boy could take Trent's position. Nobody can at the moment. So why would you ever risk putting him in the midfield and then having a dodgy right back?
Since 2018-19, Kevin De Bruyne is the only one with more assists in the league than Trent on 34, and Trent is one behind him on 33.
Yeah, so why would you move him?
He loves whipping in from a wide area compared to being inside. There's definitely a little bit of a difference. Technically, he's got the quality to do both. I think, I think this is what I was saying though, we're evolving though. Like, so I think when we first got Salah, do you not think he used to play really far wide? And
yes.
Trent would always overlap him. Like that season where like Robbo and Trent were just like go the whole time. I actually think we've evolved a little bit and we've kind of held them and we've kind of been like chill out a wee bit simply for whatever reasons. It's probably quite in depth why we've actually gone to decide to do that. But I think it's really clever with now playing Elliot in there, who likes to go and play wide, bringing Trent inside. Obviously, like I said, sometimes he will go overlap him. He won't do it every time. Trent loves overlapping.
Yeah, that's his favourite thing to do. Is
He's
just
got the
bomb in
legs to
that
do
right.
it. and getting to the byline and that. But I think it's clever, and I think we are literally playing him in centre midfield at the moment. But like we're also kind of not. He's still playing as a right back. But that's just kind of the way football's going right now.
It's one to keep an eye on. Champions League starts next week. I put this down, and to be honest, I was like, I haven't even thought about it, and I don't have a fucking clue who's going to win it.
Oh.
PSG with Messi up there, is that enough for them to pit them to a Poch? I don't know.
I always see that point that like, and Poch might make a difference, but none of these guys work that hard off the ball, like Neymar and Mbappe and all that. And I don't think Messi necessarily works very hard off the ball either. So
they're not defending that.
Yeah, when you get into the latter stage of a tournament, you're playing against like Bayern and Man City and United, Liverpool, whatever, and you've only got like 7 guys defending. It's surely you're going to concede some goals. So I don't know if PSG do it.
Does Poch get them to defend them?
Yeah, maybe he does.
You know what I mean? Like maybe Poch does get them to defend from the front. Like you wouldn't really. Would you think of someone when Poch had Kane? Who was it? Kane's son. Who was his front three?
Mora? Did he sign Lucas Mora as well? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did, but he didn't.
Kane's son Mora, had like Lamella, like he did. He had
so really,
Rob would be able to tell.
Dele Alli in there as well.
No idea how that's gonna.
Yeah, Dele Alli. Yeah, Dele Alli did rotate.
We watched Bayern Dortmund a couple of weeks ago, and Bayern looked class.
Whoa,
yeah, I think if you put a gun to my head right now, fucking obvious that they won it last year as well. But they won it 2 years ago. But Bayern Munich would be favourites for me. I think Chelsea could be right up there again. I think Chelsea will be right up there again. I actually think all the English teams will do really well. I think Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Man United are all gonna be ones to beat. Them and Bayern Munich, Barcelona, nope. Real Madrid, nope. Juventus, nope. Trying to think of any other big clubs I've missed out.
Yeah,
Arsenal, not another shit.
PSG.
Spurs, not shit. PSG. I think English clubs and Bayern Munich. I think that's
you
it.
You're gonna have to wait to see how the season starts to go and what teams are in form and how they're playing and how they're looking. It's quite hard to like.
We're a podcast. We need to predict things. Predict things into the future. I can't wait to look back at our fucking bottom 3 and fucking top 4 things at the end of the season. See how close we are. But so I'm saying Bayern then, Scotty.
Man City.
Punch your head, City, Greg.
I'll say Liverpool.
Matthew's probably gonna say Liverpool as well.
Mate, I've got no fucking.
Liverpool with Trent playing as a false 9.
I don't have a fucking clue.
I've got no idea. I can't pass on that question.
Man City are going to draw every game 0-0 because they've got a striker, but they're going to win on penalties and they'll win the Champions League on penalties.
No, that's what Portugal did at the Euros.
Yeah, never won a game over 90 minutes.
That's what City are going to do. Fucking right. Well, that's interesting. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap it up? That's all I had.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like we've covered a lot of.
Let's see how Ronaldo gets on. Let's see if Trent starts to go and play in centre midfield. I personally don't think he will.
Who wins the Golden Boot? Premier League.
Me, man.
Salah.
Non-biased.
Oh.
I mean.
I think it'll be Lukaku.
I think Kane's gonna be out there again because he's the only one that's gonna score for Spurs, along with Sam. But I'm going Salah.
I have a weird feeling that Havertz is gonna have a really good season, and I think Bruno will just hit another level again with Ronaldo being there. Personally.
Beans.
And Lukaku.
Oh, I wasn't saying they're gonna win.
I was about to say Bruno's not going to go.
Sorry, I just added in.
Yeah, you made
before we finish, I think that I have a weird feeling that Havertz is going to have a really good season.
Havertz is getting 30 goals a season, and
best
Bruno's going to be good.
He's one of those players came to the Premier League the first season. Everyone was like,
who's going to win the Golden Boot?
Who's going to win the Golden Boot, mate?
Chris Wood.
Fuck's sake!
I'm going to say Mika Antonio. So.
That's it.
I've seen that, man.
You don't even get to say. You're gonna say before we finish this.
Diego Jota might be Liverpool's top goal scorer though.
So you think he gets more than Salah?
Fuck, I don't know about that second top goal scorer.
Fucking.
We don't get any other goal scorers. So.
Fuck's sake! Right, well that's it. We're finishing up on that. Matthew can't even pick a fucking
All right, cheers,
top
boys.
goal scorer.
Cheers.
Good evening.